This podcast contains explicit content.
Good evening, cowards.
This podcast is hardly focused.
Oh my God. No.
Dissecting the news, one tangent at a time.
We all have ADHD and anything else would be boring as hell.
This jersey that we wear today, it doesn't say Red Sox. It say Boston. We want to thank you, Mayor Menino, Governor Patrick, the whole police department for the great job that they did this past week. This is our fucking city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom. Stay strong. Thank you.
Everybody, welcome to Hardly Focused. Mike Gerard, Jack Gill. You can get us at hardlyfocused.com. You're presented by the Solid Listen Podcast Network. That was David Ortiz speaking at what I believe was the first Red Sox game after the Boston Marathon bombing, which was 12 years ago today, the 15th of April. The bombing was in 2013. It is now the year of our Lord 2025. 12 years goes by really fast.
Oh yeah.
It's
been a hot minute.
That was, I guess we're at a point now where
it's history.
It is history, and it's like jarring to kind of think about like how as you get older, time, like there's some study out there that I remember reading a while back that says like as you get older, it's like the relativity to time where things just go by so much faster. And when it was,
it was quoted by Albert Einstein at some point.
Either relativity, either Albert Einstein or
Albert Brooks, one of the two.
Yes. And his brother, Super Dave. I forget his name.
I'm going to go with Mel Brooks.
No, I think his name was Bob Einstein, but he was on Arrested Development. He was George's surrogate. Mm-hmm. Frightening looking individual, but he went by his government surname. I've never heard anyone say, and now I've heard it several times, but I've never heard anyone say government name until just before we started our interview with Woke Karen a few weeks ago. And he mentioned, he's like, well, my government name is, I'm like, I've never heard that before. And now I hear it all the time. So yeah, Einstein using his government name while his brother's too good for it. Didn't want to be
government name.
Yeah, apparently there's an Albert Einstein in the guild. So no, that's why he's Albert Brooks. Anywho, what I was getting at, off to a riveting start.
Yes,
is that the 12-year anniversary of 9/11, for example? It felt like a million years prior.
9/11.
Because I was 12 years old when that happened, and then
you were 12 years old for the Boston bombings. Wow.
Yeah,
it sounds about right.
And 12 years old today.
Yeah.
And in 12 years,
This kid just can't grow up.
I can't. I really can't. You put it best when describing me to your mother-in-law, saying that I have the same mental acuity as your 6-year-old.
Give or take.
And you weren't wrong, because we both enjoy coloring and Legos and
video games.
And video games, yes.
Yep.
Which I need to ask you too about the Nintendo Switch 2, because I think that was revealed during our break.
It was.
Twas. But yeah, it's just I remember the marathon bombing so vividly, and just the details of that day, that afternoon, the hour or so where I couldn't get in contact with any of our friends from the radio station, those who were still working there, who were right there when it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was technically it was only a block away, right?
Yeah.
Because normally they would broadcast from Lear.
Rest in
right?
peace.
Yeah. Yeah, no longer with us.
Yeah.
Not due to the bombing.
COVID took it, right, Lear?
I think so.
It took a lot of those bars down there on Boylston. But yeah, I remember Jackie saying that like she actually had like some degree of hearing damage because how close they were to one of the bombs going off. And I remember all of that, and then I remember the following days. I distinctly remember because I was working the 2 to 11 shift, doing tech support at the video game studio, and driving down the pike going into the city. And usually I'd be like in the for the local people on the pike in the Natick area, usually around like 1:30 in the afternoon. That's the typical time when I'd get into that area, and that's Metro Boston. That's what, like, maybe at that point you're like 15 minutes outside of the city. And on I think that was a Friday, like a third. I think it was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And at around like 1:30 in the afternoon, traffic is starting to build up because everyone's getting out of work early. And it didn't matter for me because I'm going into the city, so I'm not going to hit that traffic, but you're going to see the gridlock coming out as early as 1:30 in the afternoon. Nobody on the road. And I'm seeing like army helicopters in the sky because the city had been locked down while they were looking for Tsarnaev, the surviving Tsarnaev.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, was that was a crazy day. Like, I was up all night watching the news beforehand because that's when the manhunt started, and then it bled into the next day. The city was shut down, and what was bizarre on top of that was then March 2020 comes around, and the city gets shut down again because of the pandemic. And I was just like, oh, we've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing new.
Slightly different reasons, but yeah.
Our mutual friend Razmig,
yes,
who according to Facebook is my uncle for some reason. So he was in town visiting his old roommate in Watertown, and I sent him a message that Thursday night just because it was his first visit back after leaving Boston and moving to the West Coast. And I just shot him a message on Facebook just saying, hey, Unc, are you around? Do you want to hang out? Get out of work at like 11 if you want to grab like a late night drink or something. And he responds with, I would absolutely love to, but I literally cannot leave my house right now because there's a ongoing crime scene, FBI, and that was like me learning about the manhunt that the Tsarnaev brothers were in the area. I don't know if the older one had been run over at that point. But
yeah,
that was insanity. And then I left to go I went to the Trader Joe's down the street to get lunch, and in the span of me getting out of my car, going into the supermarket and coming out, the lockdown had been lifted, and then David Henneberry found Tsarnaev in his boat.
Mm-hmm.
Under the tarp in his backyard. And then the lockdown was put back in place so they could have their standoff and then arrest the guy. And 12 years later, our tax dollars are still going towards his incarceration as he remains on death row, Tsarnaev, in Florence, Colorado at the ADX Supermax prison.
I'm surprised, because it was a bombing in a blue state that somebody didn't pardon him already.
Mm. Like, do you think do you think he's going to die in prison, like just of natural causes or what?
He's gonna have to. There's no way that they're gonna let him out ever.
No, they won't. But like, he got the death penalty, right?
Yeah, and then they took it back, and then they're putting it back on the table. I don't know. At this point, it's a waste of taxpayers' money to keep him alive.
Yeah. Well, it really is. I mean, I don't understand the holdup there. I really don't.
I mean, that's the thing. I understand states are like, as a state, we don't want to do this. When the federal government's like, yeah, you're bad enough that the federal government gets involved pre-2020, pre-2016, if you know what I mean? Yeah, when the federal government can literally look and go, yeah, you're an awful human being. please don't exist anymore.
Well, now you say that, there are other domestic terrorists that are in that exact prison at ADX Florence who continue to exist if they all had fantastic legal defense to keep them alive. And I don't know why you would want to be alive living in there.
Just living out your day. I don't know. Because it's better than the nothingness afterwards.
I know we've talked about it in the past, but Woody Harrelson's father, I don't know if it was mental illness or what, but had a glowing, very, very positive description of his time in ADX Florence. He that's where he ultimately passed away, but he loved it. He loved the isolation. I don't think most people would enjoy being in solitary confinement for 23 hours a day. As
I'm sure Theodore Kaczynski would also appreciate the loneliness as well.
I read an interview with it was some brosive who spent time at ADX Florence and got out because they actually do have one of those like step down programs where you are violent enough that you end up at Supermax, and then if like, you know, good behavior, what have you, your time in solitary is lessened. Like, okay, now you only are in there for 22 hours a day, 21 hours a day. You can hold a job because it's there's, I think, you know, minimum security somewhere on that complex. And this dude actually, I guess now if you're a domestic terrorist, the step down program does not apply to you. But for others, there is a chance that you can then get transferred to a less discriminating prison, and you can be back in Gen Pop and what have you. But this guy, while he was at Florence, now you saw this on Orange is the New Black, but the way you would communicate with others typically was through your sink. You would have to use a straw or something to blow the air out of the pipes, and that way you could actually communicate with other prisoners. The you know, someone in the next cell over, it's the equivalent of the, you know, 2 tin cans and a piece of twine.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. You have to learn Morse code. And I'm sure that people probably do, because what the fuck else are you going to do for 23 hours a day? But this prisoner said that he ended up, I don't know if he was in like the cell adjacent to Kaczynski's or what, but he ended up developing a good rapport with Kaczynski. He says that Ted respected him because the prisoner called him sir. Kaczynski appreciated that. And he said that Kaczynski even administered an IQ test to him.
I mean, isn't it? No one ever accused Kaczynski of being a dummy.
No, not in the least.
He may be sane, he may be nuts, but he's not a dummy.
No, he wasn't. He like, did he have his PhD, or was he just?
I think he at least had his master's. I think he may have begun his PhD and stopped and then went into seclusion.
Did he go to? He went to an Ivy League school. I don't know if it was Harvard, but he definitely went to. I think he went to an Ivy League school. I do know that he was accidentally invited to like his class's 50th reunion.
He does have a PhD from the University of Michigan in mathematics.
Ah, okay.
Yes. He did enter Harvard University at the age of 16.
Okay. All right. There we go. He actually responded to the invitation to his reunion, and
sadly, I'm a little bit unable to leave the state.
Yeah, he politely declined. But even for those that declined, the college still wanted to know what your occupation was. What are you doing since you got out of college? And he listed his occupation
Life
as
coach.
Yeah. Home renovation specialist. Combat surgeon.
Oh, what did he actually list it as?
Prisoner.
Oh, it's too. Oh, okay, I thought he was gonna go with some quip.
No, I mean that is, it's dry. It's straight and to the point.
Occupation: prisoner.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah, it's the same mistake that Sandusky Jerry Sandusky's college, the college that he worked at, offering him his and they sent it to him directly in prison, his application to get season tickets for like the following season, and realizing, oh, we sent that to you in error.
Hi, do you want to renew your season tickets? Sure. I don't know if I have enough money in the commissary to afford these.
We're going to talk later on in this episode about Luigi Mangione. And
yep.
He is incredibly attractive, if you didn't know. And also a fantastic musician. His commissary, like overflowing, like hit its cap immediately because he's got this fan base and they just want to do whatever they can to support him. So he is among the richest in whatever prison he's in right now.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, those commissaries do have a cap to them. There's only
really?
There's only so many packets of ramen you can purchase.
So he's I guess we should we can save it for later, but I guess is that a question of, is he causing a financial crisis in the prisons because he's like flooding the market with money?
Now, if he's smart, he turns it around, and
yeah,
I don't know why I know so much about this, but in prison, cigarettes and packets of mackerel are viewed
mackerel,
upon
like the fish,
like fish. Yeah, they're viewed upon
like the fish. Yes, like the fish.
R.I.P. Jed the Fish from K-Rock in Los Angeles. The packets of cigarettes and packets of fish are viewed as currency.
Okay.
Kind of like bottle caps in Fallout. So that's, it's doing good and getting on the right side of people. And yeah, you're swimming in that fish.
Okay.
It's the the hottest commodities in prison, especially in commissary. I mean, especially if you're like a chain smoker, like you're really gonna want to hold on to that. But yeah, 12 years ago, the Boston Marathon bombing. And Mike, do you have any like memories, like specific memories of your what you're doing that day when the news broke?
I think I was home that day, and I made sure to double check. I was like, "Hey, are you guys?" I can't remember who it was. It Trish maybe, and they're like, "Hey, we packed up, and we had left an hour earlier." Is what she texted back, and the only people that she's like, "We left, but there might have been people that stayed there, but we all left." I'm like, "Okay, good. You guys aren't physically there." And I think she also mentioned like we were a block away at the time. Like, all right, okay, so there's not anybody directly as far as I can tell. That's really my first thought was like, oh crap, because I know people are down there.
Were you impacted at all by the lockdown?
I was not.
Okay.
I was far enough outside of the 95 belt.
I was one town over working in Needham. I was like quite literally just right outside of the quote unquote perimeter. But it's Needham, like what's going to happen out there? But I don't recall seeing any like police activity or anything, any roadblocks or anything like that. It was really just seeing those Army helicopters in the sky. But even that's like not a common occurrence, even though you've got the there is like some sort of military installation in Natick, but you still don't typically see Army helicopters in the sky on any given day, unless they're flying.
You're talking about the Natick Labs?
Yes.
Yeah, which is at the time Raytheon also was there as their headquarters.
Well, today I learned.
Yep.
That means Natick gets blown away if the bombs ever fall. Because of Raytheon.
Yes, that is correct.
And then in the ruins spawn death claws.
Fucking death claws.
So speaking of the city of Boston, so an actor named Nicky Cat passed away over the weekend, best known for being in the film Dazed and Confused. But before I became familiar with that movie, he was on a show that I used to watch called Boston Public. Do you remember this show?
Boston Public. I feel like I know the name.
I believe it was a David E. Kelly joint. Could be wrong, but it was. I think it was in the same universe technically is Boston Legal and The Practice, but
okay.
Boston Public featured Jerry Ryan, who was 7 of 9 on Star Trek Voyager. This was like her first project after Voyager ended.
She McBride. All right.
Yep. Loretta Devine was on there. Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah. Rashida Jones, young Rashida Jones was on this show.
Oh,
she played a secretary, and Nikki Katt played a character named Harry Sennett, and TMZ sharing a infamous clip of him. I believe he's talking about like gun control, gun violence to his class, and then just pulls out a pistol and just fires it, not at anybody, but just fires it. But you don't remember the show? Okay, it was on.
I vaguely I remember the name of it. I don't remember watching it. Apparently, Chris Evans was in it too.
Yes, as a student.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a show that, I mean, it was the early 2000s, so the playing field was a little bit more open, but it was known for its controversy, including a young Michael Rappaport just willy-nilly dropping the N-bomb to his to his class. And I remember that being a it was a much hyped episode, and I'm sure there was like an underlying message beneath it. But much hyped episode, very controversial. My 7th grade history teacher, he was my history teacher in school. He hated Fro and I, which was great because we were just incredibly rambunctious. But he was like the young teacher, so he was actually like hip to everything that the kids were into, and he loved Boston Public. And there was an episode where the actor Five-ish Finkel. He
I saw that name. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he played a.
Is he the grandfather of Ray Finkel?
Ray Finkel.
Laces out, Ray. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
No idea. To answer your question in all seriousness, no idea.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, Five-ish Finkel's character, known for some very odd non sequiturs. He was like the token curmudgeon-y old Jewish man teacher who also wore a bow tie all the time. But then he would drop lines like this.
You had a student with a penis as big as a sycamore.
It's even better when there's no context to it. And by the way, yes, I did spend a considerable amount of time last night loading over a dozen sound drops from this show into the board. Don't judge me.
I'm very fond of black people, you know.
But my history teacher was obsessed with this guy because he goes on a diatribe to his class, proclaiming that he is Abraham Lincoln, and it was a whole thing about like reincarnation. So he just believes he is Abraham Lincoln reincarnated, and that really resonated with my history teacher. And he just always talked about that scene. He always referenced that scene. Never though quoted anything like this from Five-ish Finkel's character.
I read that Shakespeare, Stephen. He's a sex perv.
Yeah, decent show, that Boston Public. One of those shows too that's like it was Boston in name only.
Yeah. There's a couple of shows that are like really.
Mm-hmm. The closest you're going to get to real Boston was Michael Rappaport's character.
Yep.
And that was it.
I mean, real Boston, a.k.a. filmed in Toronto or Vancouver.
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
I believe 30 Rock did an episode that was supposed to be set in Boston that was at a fictional NBC affiliate in Boston. I believe Julianne Moore had a guest starring role in this episode, and she's trying to do the New England accent. And said it before, I'll say it again.
If you can't do it well, don't try.
If you're not from here, don't do it.
That too.
Because Fallout 4 drove me nuts hearing all the attempted New England accents. It's like, guys, just don't. Either hire voice talent, hire talent from the area.
No, it's not it. Ugh.
Hire talent from the area, or just don't even try. Yeah, a show in name only. There was that show Kevin Can Fuck Himself. Do you remember that one from a few years ago? It had what's her face from Schitt's Creek?
Andrew Murphy.
Yes, that was set in Worcester.
What?
Of all places, and
it was set in Worcester.
And let me tell you, nothing about that show looked like it was set in Worcester.
If you're not having somebody drive through Kelly Square, then it's not fucking
right. Okay, so I'm in Florida, and a couple of weeks ago, I'm at the UPS store and I'm mailing something out. And despite being in Florida, I put the return address as my home address in Worcester because something happens, rather just get sent back to the house than to me in Florida. And it just so happens the guy that was ringing me out, that was helping me at the UPS store, is from Worcester. I think technically he's from Providence, but he used to go up to Worcester all the time, but he hadn't been up here in several years.
I'm from Worcester. Well, really, I'm from Providence, but close enough.
Well, it's what always happens to me anytime I travel. And this always happens whenever I'm out in California. I mentioned I'm from Boston. Someone asks where I'm from, and I say I'm from Boston. And then they get like all hoity-toity, and they're like, all right, no, I got family that lives in Ashburnham. Where are you really from? Oh, I got a cousin that lives in Millbury.
Yeah, exactly.
My mother's from Bridgewater. Like, come on. Like, I'm in California. Shut up. But yeah, I'm in Florida, and this guy just mentions Worcester, so we're talking about Kelly Square. I think the last time he was in Boston was right when they were building the Woo Sox Park.
Okay.
And I told him that Kelly Square, which if you're unfamiliar with it, 8 roads converging into one with, I believe, only 2 stop signs. So
that is correct. And before they upgraded it, it basically they did, it's called the Peanut, and it's basically like 2.5 roundabouts or rotaries together without a separation in the middle. So it allows the roads to kind of converge and go in a big giant semicircle-ish circle. Beforehand, it was just all these roads, wherever they met each other, was just an open area for chaos. And you just learned to love it.
And if you're a teenager, you learn to drive.
Yep.
By going through Kelly Square.
Exactly. If you can navigate Kelly Square without getting in an accident, there's your license.
If you can dodge Kelly Square, you can dodge a ball. Kelly Square.
Dodge, dip, dive, and dodge.
I usually hate, not that I hate, I'm used to it now because there's just so many of them. But, I'm very apprehensive going through rotaries just because I have little faith in anyone around me knowing what a yield sign is, or knowing that once you're in the rotary, don't fucking stop.
Oh my God. The people that are in the rotary that stop for me to enter, I'm like, no, fuck you. Because God knows if you just find, I'm going to keep on going and I get hit, now I'm at fault. Fuck you. No go.
Oh, yeah. I rage. Like I rage when people
I will point. I'll point and go, you go. I'm like, no. I do this for a living. Go fuck yourself.
The last time this happened to me, it was this guy just like, he's trying to be polite. He has a smile on his face and he's like waving at me, like the go ahead wave. And I'm like, dude, I will get out of my car and I will drive yours for you.
Yep.
Fucking go. But what I'm getting at is Kelly Square with the Peanut, the 2 rotaries there. I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not apprehensive going through that, and I think it's just because of what used to be there.
Oh, yeah. You're like, yeah. Don't quote the old magic to me.
But this guy at the UPS store, he left before the peanut was constructed. So I was telling him how much better it is down there. And he was excited to hear this as I'm explaining the concept of the peanut to him. And all of a sudden, some other guy in the UPS store, all of a sudden I just hear him go, "Yeah, are you talking about Kelly Square?" And it was just some dude standing at a copy machine. He's wearing a Red Sox hat. I'm like, dude, I'm in Florida. Are you kidding? Talking to two people from Worcester? Seriously? Always happens. It always happens. It only happens to me. Oh, by the way, being in Florida, tried to go to Pornhub.
How'd that go?
Well, it didn't.
All right.
I couldn't get in. There was actually a block on trying to go to Pornhub.com, and there was a block saying that it wasn't even like an age verification thing. It just straight up just said, we're not letting anybody into the website, like based on your IP. Like you're in Florida, like we're just not gonna let you in. Like it's what we talked about months ago. They're just cutting access off entirely. But other websites, I had better luck. I was finally able to find something to satiate my needs. But
Ex-hamster. All right.
but the hub doesn't work in Florida. Can confirm. Honestly, I didn't believe it. I didn't think it was going to be a thing. I didn't believe it, Mike.
It was true. Sorry, buddy. It was true.
I can't believe they're doing that shit. Like, and do you think anyone actually is like going through the process of providing their personal information? Like they're
no. Hell no.
I do believe you could get your ass kicked for saying something like that.
Got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, it's I wasn't gonna try down there, but that would be where you pull the VPN out and you do that. Because let me tell you.
You know what? I would do it just out of principle, not even to do anything. Just like, yeah, fuck you.
Have my personal information. Have a picture of my passport. What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah, fuck you.
See, Becky and I, just every time we go down to Florida, we are always saying, like, it would be nice to live here. Because her parents are in a very nice area in Florida, but just the food options that are nearby, being within proximity of the theme parks, the weather, obviously. Like once you're down, it's very brainwashing. Once you're down there, there are things that like come about where you're like, I could get behind this. I could see myself being a resident, but then you kind of have to remember the politics, the government, the water quality.
Yeah. Is it sulfur? Is that what the undertaste is down there?
I don't know if it's right to call it sulfur. It is. You don't drink it. That's the thing. Well, I mean, if you do, then you become Florida man. But
yeah,
you just don't drink it. It just tastes awful. There's just something about the well or whatever, the aquifer, whatever you call it, in that region specifically, that it's just the water. The tap water is disgusting. And I learned being in Savannah, Georgia, for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as bad there. It's like I'm like downing glasses of tap water because I was like particularly thirsty one of the nights I was in Savannah, and I looked over at someone and just said, "This water's disgusting, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm not drinking it." I'm like, "Well, I have like no choice."
It's not just me, right? It's not just me. It's me. It's you. It's me. Okay, good.
The walls are turning into liquid. Is anyone else seeing this? The tablecloth is laughing at me. The water's disgusting, right? So, yeah, it was just, I can't really describe the taste.
It's just off.
It's off. I'd say maybe even more metallic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something about it. You can even smell it too. Like you can smell it when it's coming out of When it's coming out of the tap, it's got a bit of.
It makes you want to drink some Flint water instead.
Yeah, I don't know what the better option is at that point. I really don't. You just have to have a Brita filter with you at all times, basically, or bottled water. Just don't drink the tap water. Savannah too. So I was in the area where Nate used to live, and he kept warning me, and I didn't listen. But there is a paper mill.
Why didn't you believe me?
There's a paper mill down there. And I'm at a bar, and like the people I'm standing with, I thought someone ripped ass. And we're standing outside. We're standing on a balcony. And I thought someone ripped ass so bad that I'm like, I got to get it. I got to go stand somewhere else. And the smell just like, it wasn't escaping me. It was so bad.
It was ever present.
And then I remember Nate told me, watch out for the paper mill. So at like 10:30 at night, I guess, that's when they vent the mill. And I don't know where, like how close it was to me at that time at that bar. But my word. Oh, I've smelled some shit. But that was some shit. That was bad. Like, I've been around you, Mike, when you've ripped ass. I'd rather be in your company with you having ripped ass.
I'm good at it too.
You are, which is shocking, which is really disgusting. I couldn't escape. That's the thing. I couldn't get away from it. I didn't know what to do. Like no one else is reacting to it. And I'm just like, look, I need to go somewhere. I don't know where to go. I can't get away from it. I had a wee bit of alcohol-induced panic.
Oh, get out of here!
Nice city though, Savannah. It wasn't a bad time. It was very picturesque. All right, let's do this. Let's. Before we do that, Mike.
Yes.
Elder Scrolls for Oblivion.
Okay.
It's real. We've talked about it before. The existence of it. It hasn't been officially announced. That's the thing. Oblivion is a remake of the game Oblivion. It has not been officially announced, but it does exist because there are people that it seems that it's a thing they do every day where they go to like different websites and they data mine. It's like
nothing better to do.
Yeah, it's like when you wake up and you're having your morning cup of coffee and you go to virtual
newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not checking the newspaper anymore. We're data mining.
We're going to rockstargames.com and we're checking we're going to inspect source, view page source, and we're looking at everything to see if we can...
I see some coding changes. Uh-oh.
And that fucking happens every single time they do some sort of back-end update on the Rockstar Games website. It sends people into a tizzy because, especially Grand Theft Auto fans, and I'm speaking from experience, we cannot be satisfied.
I'm glad you included yourself. I was going to say, no, don't just say they.
Yeah, we cannot be satisfied. We got our trailer in December 2023. And
I feel like at this point, somebody in Rockstar has realized that. And now they're just like it's their job every like 3 days. Like set an alarm, like boop, 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 update the website, boop, 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 change the website a little bit, boop, boop, and just to freak you guys out. Oh my god! What's happening? Something's happening? Anything? No. Okay. All right, guys. So almost done. All right. Oh my god! It's definitely happening this time. This time. It's definitely happening this night now. Right now, it's happening. It's happening right now. Now. No. Okay. We'll wait. Yep. For sure. I saw it. It's yep.
It's not even. I mean,
Rockstar is that cool where they would do that just to fuck with people.
It's not just that. It's people who play. Like, I don't play Grand Theft Auto Online on principle alone, even though they've added so much content to it over the years. And going back to the Boston Marathon too, that I genuinely thought that because of the marathon bombing that Grand Theft Auto 5 would get delayed. Like thinking that like what had happened in Boston was so destructive and it was so serious that Rockstar Games will look at their game and say, yeah, maybe we should wait a little while longer to release our sandbox free-for-all, kill everybody, blow everything up.
Ooh.
Open world adventure game. And funnily enough, the game was supposed to come out in April of that year. I have marketing material that says coming spring 2013, and it got just delayed just because it needed more development time. But if it were slated to come out like that week in April, I guarantee you it would have been delayed.
Oh my God, yeah.
9/11 delayed Grand Theft Auto 3 by I think like a month. So entirely possible there. But anyway, Grand Theft Auto Online, people will like they study the placement of the moon in the game, and they'll be like, if the moon is at this position at this time on this day, it indicates when the next trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 will come out. If you do this simple but complicated math equation.
It's like the QAnon people that do their math about the lizard people. You're like, guys, take it down a notch, just half a notch, please.
And then the day they claim a day.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather.
They pick a day, they claim a day, and then the day comes and goes, and then they're angry because nothing happened. And it's all just based on, it's like what you just said. It's just based on their own claims with nothing backing it. Mm-hmm. No tangible evidence backing it.
5 was released 17 years ago, 5 plus 17, but you've got to take into account the moon phase, which is the third day of the moon. So you got to divide it by 3 and then add 4 because there was 4 main guys that were writing the script on this. So you have to add 4, but do that. Yeah, exactly. It just goes on forever. You're like, guys, you're grasping at straws.
Yep, I've been drinking again.
Exactly.
I remain a little bit apprehensive just about Grand Theft Auto 6, just because, to your point about the writers, I mean, the people that made that franchise what it was, most of them have left since 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Red Dead Redemption 2, I think, was actually their last credit before most of them left the company. So I fear that by not having them running the show with this game, it will make GTA 6 just another game in the same league as like the Watch Dogs series, for example, or Saints Row. It will be in the same league as the games that are copying it and have copied it.
You know what? We will find out. But not this year. Oh,
yeah, it's not coming out this year. I will consume a shoe. I will cut it up into little bits and pieces like Mike cuts his steak before he eats it. And I'll consume a shoe if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out in 20 and 25. But so Oblivion, though, now the developer, it's not Bethesda Game Studios that's doing it. It's a studio called Virtuous that has been contracted to develop a remaster of this game from 2006 in the, I believe, either Unreal 4 or Unreal 5 engine. But again, it has not been technically officially announced. But like, we know about it because there's been a couple of people who worked at the studio that either accidentally posted information about it or left, were disgruntled, and then went to Reddit or 4chan, rest in peace, and shared information about the game that wasn't supposed to be shared. Someone I saw on Reddit, they were referring to the game by its code name, Alter. And this, again, was like a post from several months ago that you could say, oh, my cousin's brother's father works for Nintendo. Here's some insider information. So this guy's like referring to as Project Alter. Well, someone data mines the Virtuos website this morning and finds a bunch of screenshots with links, direct links to the screenshots, and they were all in a folder called Alter. And it was
well, looky here,
marketing screenshots for the as of yet officially announced remake of the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And according to Eurogamer.net, the plan is next week, Mike. So the week of April 21st, the week of Easter, the week that Jesus did something. I lose track with all these holidays.
Became a zombie.
During which we question what he did those 3 days he was dead.
It was a bender. He was taking a day off.
A bender.
Crucifixion takes a lot out of you, okay?
It's me when I went to Glasgow. It's just a 3 day long hangover. Crucifixion takes a lot out of you. Well, next week, purportedly, according to Eurogamer, the game is just going to come out. They're calling it a shadow drop. It will just appear out of thin air and will be available to download on Game Pass, will be available to purchase with like no fanfare. The game will just be there, ready for you to play. And if and when that happens, and it seems like it's very likely that is going to be the case, you're not going to hear from me for a while.
I'm going to go dark, guys, and check on me in a couple weeks.
See, what I'm hoping is that they like rebuild everything from the ground up. I know like Oblivion gets a lot of shit for its poor voice acting, where like you'll be talking to, because they use like, it's kind of, I always joked that Skyrim used the guy that voiced Pete on Goof Troop and Tigger's voice actor. That guy voices like 75% of Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
But they use a small pool of voice actors, and with Oblivion it was even smaller, but it was great because you'd be talking to like a city guard, and you'd have generic city guard voice, except for like one line that would be done by a different voice actor, because at some point things got lost in the shuffle and only one male voice actor said something along the lines of, "Thank you, have a good day." So it didn't matter who you were talking to. They only had one "Thank you, have a good day" available. So you could be talking to like a dark-skinned character in the game, and then all of a sudden they have the voice of a white man out of nowhere. What I'm getting at is I hope they at least re-record the voice lines, put some more investment into the voice lines in the game, because when the Grand Theft Auto remakes came out a few years ago, Rockstar Games even said, we deleted all the master tracks for all the voice recordings we did because we never thought we would have to revisit them for any reason.
Whoops.
And it's just so jarring because they tried to make the game look current, those 3 Grand Theft Auto games look current gen, but all the voice parts were just like super heavily compressed, just sounded off, because there were all these, original files from 2004 that couldn't be they didn't put any money into re-recording.
That's what I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, like this. Okay, so the quality of this,
You like my asshole always holding up shit.
it sounds the exact same in the 2022 version of the game as it did in the 2004 version. Even this one,
My mother's my sister.
sounds the exact same. And they couldn't just get people to go in and re-record them because, I'd say a good amount of that voice cast has since passed away.
Mm.
But did you get to that point in the Witcher? How far into The Witcher 3 did you get?
I got basically to the end ish.
Do you remember a sequence when you're in it's a big graveyard, and Yennefer like digs up a dead body and puts a spell on him?
Oh yeah, that's barely even halfway through. Yeah, where in order to find some information out, right?
Yeah.
reanimates it, and everybody's like, "You desecrated," and she's like, "I needed information. Fuck you."
Yeah, but it's like it's a dead body speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. What I'm saying is get Yennefer to do that to Sean Penn's brother, who passed away in 2005, but he's in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and just get him to re-record his voice lines. It's going to sound a little distorted.
The decay might be a lot, though.
Just a wee bit, but
yeah.
With AI, with today's AI, you can make it sound crisp.
Mm-hmm.
You can take away that decay, both figuratively and literally. All right. Let's regroup. Remember, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Potentially coming out next week. Let's regroup. When we come back, we'll talk about Luigi Mangione. And it's indirectly about Luigi Mangione.
We'll make it about him, though.
Yeah. But it's related to him. It's news about Coachella, and then something that happened. I'd say it was a bit coincidental what happened the day after this thing at Coachella happened. So we'll talk about that coming up. Stick around.
I find that adverbs are overrated and that your adjectives are your go-to guys.
Hardlyfocus.com.
This podcast contains explicit content.
This is Hardly Focused.
Oh, Mike, do you have a fun story the first time you ever bought condoms?
No, because I literally went in and bought condoms.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's a brave man right there.
I was like, I'm going to have some sex. I'm buying condoms. Thank you very much.
So the Coachella Music Festival happened this past weekend, the first weekend of it. And Coachella, in my opinion, is not what it once was. I don't understand the music that the kids are into these days, and I really do feel like Grandpa Simpson when I say that. But I don't understand it. There was a time when Coachella was all like alt rock and indie rock bands, and now it's this trap pop crap that everyone listens to in country.
Didn't Yo Gabba Gabba perform?
I'm sure they did, and I'm sure everybody loved it. Though Yo Gabba Gabba, though, they were known for having modern rock acts play on their show, but they would write music specifically like aimed towards kids that they could perform. Like Taking Back Sunday was on an episode and played a song called "We Love All Our Pets." I believe it's John Reese from Rocket from the Crypt and Drive Like Jehu worked on that show. I believe his character was called the Swami. So he would
Swami, Swimi, Samsonite. I was way off.
But he was like responsible for getting all these bands to do guest appearances on the show, even getting Rocket from the Crypt to reunite for like a one episode appearance, which then led to a full-fledged reunion. But it wouldn't shock me that Yo Gabba Gabba was on the bill, but there's a reason for that. So nowadays, like when I'm looking at the lineup for Coachella, 2 years ago, Blink-182, their first reunion performance was at Coachella, and that was a big deal because of everyone who's playing. There were the acts that I recognize, that I can like respect as musicians, but won't go out of my way to listen to. And then I see Blink on there. I'm like, I'll pay attention to that. I remember last year, I think Sublime, that was their first official reunion performance, was at Coachella. But again, it was buried on the lineup. And then this year, I know like Jimmy Eat World was in there, but they played it like in the middle of the afternoon because there were plenty of other larger acts that, again, I just don't pay attention to. And while I'm talking about it, I might as well just pull up the Coachella 2025 lineup to see who, in fact, I do recognize here.
Who you do, that voodoo that you do?
All right. Lady Gaga. Never heard of her.
I think she's up and coming.
Green Day. Okay, they're good. Oh, that's right. The original Misfits performed.
Like the original?
The original. Yeah, with Danzig.
Mother, that's the only song you ever know, mother.
Yeah, I'm being quite facetious here when I say I don't recognize half the performers here, because there really are some top tier names on here. I mean, Lady Gaga, Missy Elliott, the Go-Go's. This was just on Friday, by the way. On Saturday, you had Green Day, Charlie XCX, Misfits, Claro, who I love. She's great. Japanese Breakfast was in there. It's just so crazy now. Like, Jimmy Eat World is on the third line down on the lineup, when if this was like 10 years ago, they'd be a headliner.
Well, so what you're saying is they're just, out of all the acts, are just right in the middle?
Thanks, Mike. That was a really good one.
You're welcome. I went there.
And then Sunday you had Post Malone, Megan Thee Stallion, Biba Doobie, Kraftwerk, who I heard put on a very good set. And
Kraftwerk, wow, that's an old name.
There's only one. I think there's only like one of the original guys left in Kraftwerk, and the guy's like,
he's allowed to keep the name.
He's got to be like in his 80s now, but I feel like it's going to be one of those projects where, like, all of the original members could be dead, and whoever's left in the band will continue to tour and perform as Kraftwerk. Like,
we are Kraftwerk.
It's like, really, I mean, it's computers, man.
Beep, bop, bop, beep, beep, bop, 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 beep, beep.
Here's some music trivia for you. Do you know which famous band sampled Kraftwerk in one of their hit singles?
I feel like I should know this one.
Their name, I'll give you a hint. Their name is relative to temperature.
Reverend Horton Heat?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No. Coldplay.
98 degrees. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, you're okay. You're getting there. Yes.
Yeah. I was working my way there.
Their song "Talk" samples, I believe it's "Computer Love" by Kraftwerk, and helped introduce Kraftwerk to a new audience.
Like, what is this?
Yes.
This is what we call music.
As I'm going down the list here on Sunday, Shabuzi, who I actually quite enjoy after seeing him perform on SNL. I had no idea what a Shabuzi was.
I'm not sure what you are, but I don't know if I like it.
And then you see this black dude with dreadlocks come out, and he starts doing country music, like alt country.
Mm-hmm.
And I've loved it.
You're not Brad Paisley. I like it.
You're not Morgan Wallen.
You stayed on after they said goodbye.
Dude, I loved it the following week during Weekend Update. They were just dunking all over Morgan Wallen. Oh, he stinks.
Mm-hmm.
He claims this is what baffles me. He claims he's never been in a bar since his incident in Nashville at Chiefs. I'm like, dude, you get like one block over. You have a bar. It has your name on it. Don't be giving me this shit. Go back to God's country.
The lies, the lies, the lies.
There's a band called Fuckers, but they're spelled F-C-U-K-E-R-S. I've never heard of them. I'm guessing they're called Fuckers. Because that's what you do now. That's because we're running out of names for bands. Like we're with the creativity.
Is that like Chiverches?
Chiverches, Always. Yeah, it's like now we're just taking letters and making other letters out of it.
Well, because there's fun and then there's fun, period. Because
sure. There's a great band called Death from Above 1979. And the 1979 was added to their name. They were called Death from Above. And then James Murphy from LCD Sound System, his record label is called Death from Above, and he threatened legal action against the band. So they're like, all right, we'll add 1979 to the name because that's the year, the frontman was born. Then they split up, and then when they reunited, they tested the waters. They're like, why don't we release an album as Death from Above and see what James Murphy does?
And he did nothing?
He did nothing.
Exactly.
So I don't know if they have since reverted to having 1975 in the name just because of name recognition, but they were able to say like, hey, it's all for show. It was all a flex. Nobody gives a crap. But I really do feel we are running out of creative band names. There's a band called, I don't know. There's a band called Bob Villain. That's cool. Oh,
is their debut album This Old Home?
It's just a bunch of gibberish. Do I have that in the board when the Dylan impersonation on King of the Hill? I do not, but I have this.
You, sir, are nothing but a low-rent smut hound, and you're going to delete my wife's feet from your internet before she finds out what you've done with them.
So, Mike, Yo Gabba Gabba, way down on the list here.
Yeah.
Performed on Sunday.
Ah. Thought I saw that.
So, I bring all this up because they performed on Saturday. My apologies. On Sunday, Circle Jerks performed. Now, Circle Jerks is a prolific punk band, hardcore band, comprised of Keith Morris, who was the original singer in Black Flag. He also is in the band Off. He also performs in a band called Flag, which is comprised of other previous Black Flag members, but because of Greg Ginn, they can't call themselves Black Flag. They're just Flag.
There's BLK Flag. That's the one. It's Blick Flag.
Blick Flag. You remember Coke Blick? It was coffee flavored Coke. It was Coke Black, but it was Coke BLK.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Hetson plays in Circle Jerks. He was in Bad Religion. Xander Schloss, he was a collaborator with Joe Strummer from The Clash. He's also a film
And
composer.
those are all names that somebody should know. Like those are like, hey, you may not know this band, but I know you know where these names are coming from.
Yeah, Circle Jerks is even like now I'd consider them a super group, even though this is like Hetson, I think, was in Circle Jerks before Bad Religion formed, but nowadays there is name recognition amongst all the members, because then the drummer Joey Castillo, he was in Queens of the Stone Age for a very long time. Fantastic drummer, by the way. He's always posting whenever Circle Jerks goes on tour. He always has someone recording him side stage while he's playing the drums, and that dude is just he's a beast. He's an absolute beast behind the drums. So Circle Jerks performs at Coachella, and they played a song called Coup d'etat.
Aha!
And
that's not coup, it's coup d'etat.
Coup d'etat. Thank you. You know how my pronunciation.
It's like crudité.
Coup d'etat. Someone got mad at me on YouTube because I like confused the Dominican Republic with Mexico. Or one of us did, and they were not pleased with us. So I both apologize and say, get out of here, because I'm going to keep screwing up. It's going to keep happening. It's going to be written down in front of me, and I'm going to continue to make gaffes. So anyway, Circle Jerks is playing their song Coup d'etat. And if you've never heard the song, this is what it sounds like. Now this is at the end. This is the end of the song. It's the final 23 minutes of the song. There's a reason why I'm going to play it. This is what it sounds like.
The president smokes a gun.
Keith Morris, by the way, the DJ of the hardcore punk station in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, no, perfect.
If I may bring it back a bit.
Daddy Bonaducci!
So the end of the song, the final line in that song is, quote, kill all. So after performing that song, Morris said to the crowd, quote, that song, that last line ends with kill all. That's a pretty fucking ugly statement. In ugly times, do not think we encourage that. He then went on to say, what we do encourage, what would be totally fucking happening, would be an army of Luigis. Now, I say that, and I pause for a second because I'm hoping that you who are listening to this, you hear Luigis, plural, and that your first thought is that of Luigi Mangione. Because that is just the environment, that is the climate that we're in now, where all you have to say is Luigi, and no longer is it about Super Mario Brothers.
Nope.
It's about a murderer.
Alleged.
Alleged. And Chuck Mangione must be really happy because no longer is the name Mangione synonymous with this. So, of course, Morris is talking about Luigi Mangione. Again, a very beautiful individual. No homo. But also a little bit of homo. Just a little bit.
You wouldn't kick him out of your prison cell.
Just a little bit.
A little birdie whispered in my ear, "You're a homosexual."
Old five-ish. So, yeah, he's talking about Luigi Mangione. Circle Jerks, I don't know, like, how their rhetoric is at a typical performance, if they are known for preaching and being opinionated. Because at one point, Morris, elsewhere in their set, referred to his sister as a white Christian nationalist because of who she voted for in the election.
Okay.
But that's Keith Morris calling for, I'd say that's him calling for some action because as I have learned, there are a lot of young people that are in support of what Luigi did, which
allegedly
he is alleged to have done, which was shoot and kill the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, Brian Thompson.
Just like Brian Thompson did, denying claims. Just like Brian Thompson did. What? Huh? What?
Oh, that was brilliant. Good show. I like that. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of research into this. I did my research.
And found that I can say certain things about promoting activist violence without actually promoting it.
Yep. Yes, but also no.
Yeah. Technically speaking.
So according to The Economist, a poll that they ran a while back, Luigi Mangione has a high favorability among American citizens ages 18 to 29 compared to citizens aged 65 and older. Now, why is that? Is that because the younger generation, like myself, is petrified for what the future looks like, and that we're choosing not to procreate because we do not want to raise children in this world, in this climate in which we live, that the cost of living is absurd at this point, that Luigi wasn't exactly wrong about the state of healthcare in the United States?
I would say yes. In the short term, answer yes. Petrified, scared, angry, frustrated, all these things.
Mm-hmm. Are you, Mike, generally like worried about what this means for your kids? I mean, you got 3 kids. You got 3 little kids.
Yes. To the point where Sarah doesn't like talking about the future because she is terrified about it. And she's like, I don't need that stress right now because I can't control what's happening in the future. Like, all right, I got you. But just in case, be aware.
You're going to put it all on cam.
Yes, all on cam.
Well, he's sitting there in his little UFO looking thing.
Yeah.
His little carrier thing. And you just get right in his face and say, you are going to change the world.
It is entirely on you.
Brainwash him. Like, don't be saying.
I take charcoal bits and I just anoint his forehead like an urukai, you know?
Yeah, don't be like telling him you're going to change the world like you're encouraging him, like you're telling him that you can do anything you put your mind to. No, you're commanding him to be the change.
You are required. Change will come, and it must be with you.
Now, how was it, just given the state of healthcare in the United States, and I would assume that you and Sarah have the same healthcare provider.
That is correct.
Given your employment situation, how was it? I guess with Cam, because that was obviously the most recent one, but then with your other kids, I guess relative to insurance, was it well covered, or did you find that oh boy, having a child is incredibly expensive?
Having a child is incredibly expensive, even the amount that was covered by insurance.
Yeah,
all times, and insurance is a bunch of fucking assholes, because. Especially with Genevieve, they would try to double bill us. And Sarah would be like, no. Half the time she'd argue and say, no, you billed us for this already. The other half she'd go, no, this is Massachusetts. You're not allowed to separately bill us for this because it has to be covered by insurance.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Absolutely shitty. I'm 100% behind Luigi.
Yeah, I've been sort of a neutral party when it comes to what Luigi did, but like when that news broke a few months ago, and I don't think we've really like gone in depth about it in detail since that occurred, but like there was that moment of shock when it happened, and then once that sort of subsided, then me thinking, I hope this really does send a statement. Like a constructive statement. Like, obviously, I'm not going to condone.
I already had my statements out. I said one is an aberration. 2 is a coincidence. 3 is a push for change.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. They're more fear. More fear. Absolutely, 100%.
I really do like hope something comes out of this. And if last November taught me anything, nothing will. But
correct.
But I'd like to have some degree of hope here that if so, it seemed like random, I guess, to go after this guy, to go after Brian Thompson.
Oh, not random at all.
Oh, well, then I learned that UnitedHealthcare is like one of the worst insurance providers out there. And then
one of,
are they the worst?
The worst.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely. The worst period ever period.
That's comical because as of January 1st, that's my healthcare provider.
Oh, welcome to the club. It fucking sucks. 32% denial rate. Industry average is 17. And it's only 17 because they skew the average.
Oh boy,
yeah.
So UHC is almost double. That's great.
Yeah.
That's encouraging.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was telling you off air how I rolled my ankle recently, and like at this point I probably, as I'm like resting weight on it right now, but at some point I should go get it checked out.
I'm old.
I mean, I'm always finding new and creative ways to injure myself. But that was during my Blue Cross days. That was during my Cigna days. I don't know how lucky I will be during my UnitedHealthcare days.
Let me tell you, mandatory co-insurance fucking blows. That and pharmacy benefit managers, those guys suck. Vertical integration of the insurance industry fucking sucks. Absolutely.
Well, you know what, pal? It stinks. It stinks. He stinks. You stink.
Yep. I could go on a tirade for hours, but we don't want to do that. I mean, honestly, if even if they had just changed to not being employer based, like, hey, it's open like car insurance. Shop around. Your employer is going to give you 30% of whatever the premium is because that's what the insurers, that's what they're going to, try to, go as. Fine, whatever. That's the way to do it. but like son of a bitch.
Are you talking about UHC or just the American healthcare system in
Just
general?
the American healthcare system in general, and the fact that idiots want to be like, it doesn't benefit me to have Medicare for all. It fucking will. It fucking will. You fucking idiots. Even conservative think tanks did the math and like it actually does help.
Yeah. But they don't want you to know that.
No, they don't want to. They don't like. Hey, we did rerun the numbers and turns out they were right.
Yeah, I mean, this is like when you have that guy that discovers that his car can run on vegetable oil and has no need for gasoline, and accidentally,
and then some he dies.
Yeah, he accidentally tells too many people, disappears off the face of the earth. He gets deported to El Salvador.
Yep, never to be seen again.
Yeah. Pure coincidental, by the way. That is not a chain of events. That is just pure coincidence. But anyway, the Center for Strategic Politics did a poll. I'd say probably within a month or two of Thompson's murder. It was about Luigi Mangione. Respondents under 45 years old held a positive view of Luigi, very similar to the Economist poll. I do like that it was a wider net that was cast. It wasn't just like true young people.
Yep.
Now it's people in our even your demographic, Mike.
Yeah. Anybody that is below Gen X, even elder millennial, from millennials on down, we've endured 3 recessions in our lifetime. The precipitous increase of wealth inequality, and basically the privatization of democracy at this point, and it's bullshit. No one likes it anymore, and we're fucking fed up. And I just saw a graph today that compared our current trend of wealth inequality to France in 1780 to 1810 or whatever, and it exactly mirrors the French Revolution.
Jesus.
So I'm like, oh, well, vive la revolution.
You said 3 recessions, soon to be 5.
Oh my God. Yeah. We had the worst stock market dip in two days since the actual Great Depression.
What's even more fascinating about that is when you reverse course and say, hey, let's just delay this whole tariff thing even further. Mm-hmm. And then the stock market sees its strongest bounce back since World War II.
Because they're all playing the shorts.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. And I don't want to get into that part right there because fuck them hard. And those insider traders need to get hung up by their toes, a la Italy and Mussolini. But that's beside the point. I'm not encouraging violence.
By the way, he was saying
I'm not saying I'm encouraging violence, but I'm not saying it. I'm not saying you should.
Here's how you build this bomb. I'm not giving you instructions.
I'm not giving you instructions, but if you came across these parts, like somebody, I'm not saying anybody should. I'm not saying you should.
So here's what happened, right? Is that the real estate guy, his son, told him, "Hey, Dad, I'm very tall, and I really want the Nintendo Switch too, but now Nintendo has delayed pre-orders in the United States because your whole plan here may change the retail price of the unit." And I may need to fork over more money that I obviously have, but I may need to fork over more money in June or whenever the thing is coming out.
Yeah, allegedly in June at this point. They haven't moved the date. Yeah. Did you see the live stream, the thread of comments when they were announcing everything?
No, I didn't.
Drop the price. Drop the price. Drop the price. And now the Nintendo America's CEO is living up to his actual name now.
Yep.
Because he said, nope, it's not going to be affordable for everybody.
At which point he laughed and then bounced around violently.
Do you know his name?
Doug Bowser.
Yes, exactly. Fucking Bowser.
I love just the coincidence of that That when you're just set up for you're just set up for that future.
It's walked right into it.
Yep. The Switch 2, by the way, there's a game that effectively is going to be a tech demo for the Switch 2. And unlike Sony and unlike I guess Microsoft, definitely Sony though, Nintendo's charging to purchase this tech demo. Whereas with the PlayStation 5, it came pre-installed like as a it was like half a game and it showed off what the system could do, but it was free. There was no additional cost. Unless you want to argue that it was baked into the total cost of the system, but
which you can argue it's baked in, but whatever.
Yeah, but you know what you do? You then a few years later release a full game sequel to the tech demo, and then make all that money back. That's what that's our Astrobot was.
Well, that's what they don't want to have to deal with in the first place, making any money back.
See, that's the change that Luigi should be pushing for. I'm not saying like take the lives of any video game executives. Just like, look, this stuff doesn't have to be expensive.
Video game executives are really low on the importance of CEOs. There's a lot more higher up on that ladder than video game CEOs.
Listen, there's some maniacs out there that would disagree with you. Yeah,
I'm fully aware there's some neckbeards that are like, ah!
Yeah,
but it's not my problem.
I've been on the other side of it, man. When their games don't work, they get mad. So here's Keith Morris at Coachella, and he's talking about an army of Luigis. You know, take that for what you will. And quite literally, the Monday after Coachella, after Circle Jerks performs, at the UnitedHealthcare campus in Minnesota, someone, not just someone, his name is Ian Stanley Wagner.
Wagner Power Painter. Okay, all right.
Parks his car in front of the building, calls the FBI, and just straight up says, I am going to do something in this building. And I have a weapon. I want $1 million, and y'all are not taking me alive. And that led to a 1-hour standoff, a successful police negotiation. Wagner was arrested. The gun was recovered from his vehicle.
What you're calling him is a bitch for not holding himself to his word, huh? Man. You're not taking me alive? Oh, we took him alive. Son of a bitch, huh?
So I'm going to argue and say he's a copycat because the FBI via TMZ, they're saying, quote, there's currently no indication that the individual, Wagner, had specific grievances against UnitedHealthcare. I call shenanigans on that. It couldn't have been sheer coincidence that this guy went to UHC's campus.
Yeah, no. I always, even in the other days when they were like Mangione, they're like, we're not sure of his motives. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care that you're calling him guilty because he's not guilty. There's a thing called jury nullification that every American citizen should know about. But it's pretty fucking obvious why you'd shoot that guy. It's pretty fucking obvious why you go to UHC's campus.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Right. Yeah, you're just showing up randomly. Oh, UnitedHealthcare. I wonder what they do here. Mangione too. Didn't he have like back surgery or something? Like
I believe so.
Within
like, well, he's not actually like he doesn't actually have UHC. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
You don't go after the least evil. You go after the most evil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude could have the best health insurance out there too. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Now, Massachusetts, especially too, I believe we get penalized heavily because it's tax day. It's the 15th of April, when we're recording this episode. In Massachusetts, we get taxed or penalized heavily if come tax time, you do not have 12 months of health insurance.
Yeah, well, because we also have, the origin of the ACA, which is Mass Health. Brought to you by a Republican governor at the time, you fucking idiots. So just saying. But yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm honestly a little surprised that this is, I think I'm going to call it a copycat. This is the first copycat that I can think of. I can't recall any other, I guess, copycat cases that have happened since December.
Yeah, not anything significant. No, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this
I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should. No one should.
Yeah, don't.
Don't. I'm not saying you should.
Do what every free thinking American should do, which is scream into the void.
Yeah,
because that's basically all we can do right now. As most Americans, seem to be Google searching what is a tariff, learning about things. Oh
my God,
learning about things a little too late here, but yeah. I mean, screaming in the void. That's really all I can do. But yeah, don't kill anyone. Don't shoot anybody. But boy, do I hope. Like, even if it's like long-term change, Mike, if it benefits your kids in the long run, then I would hope some change actually comes out of this, that people look at what happened months ago and then they take seriously this incident that happened yesterday.
People don't like change. They got to come kicking and screaming. Sometimes that kicking and screaming comes in the form of a little lead poisoning. It just happens. So I'm not advocating for it. I'm saying sometimes it's going to happen.
I do hope it gets better for your kids' generation. They're all going to be part of, one generation coming up, whatever that may be. I don't think it has a name yet, but
officially, I think technically all my 3 kids are Gen Alpha.
Okay.
Because I think 2025, it's Gen Beta.
All right. Interesting.
But I think officially 2024 is the last year of Gen Alpha.
I love how we went. So we started with Gen X.
Yeah.
And Y, Z, the millennials, and all that. Now we're going to start at Alpha. Now we're going to do Beta, and we're going to go from there. And then the Generation X-ray? If we're going to go with the NATO phonetics here?
It would be, but yeah. I think the problem is we named the generations previous after what they have done, and now we're naming generations to what they're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As a silent generation, the greatest generation, the baby boomers. You didn't know they were going to be baby boomers. You couldn't name that in 1946.
Sure, they're doing it retroactively.
Exactly.
Now we're just proactively doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Gen X was still technically retroactively named because they're like they're unknown. They're X. It's like the unknown, and so they're Gen X. And they're like, oh, these kids are going to be millennials. Okay, we'll name them that. And then you're like, oh God, what after that? Ugh.
I hope it gets better for them. I hope we're not setting them up for a life of hardship and misery.
As I've heard most recently, hope in one hand, shit in the other, see which one fills up first. And I have a feeling that's going to be happening at least for the next decade.
It's not stopping people from having kids and starting families and everything.
It's definitely reducing a lot. But there's still people having families going, hey, we're going to power through it. Mm-hmm. We're going to make it better. And I'm hoping it will. I'm just, preparing my kids for, a post-apocalyptic, revolutionary America.
Sure.
I'm just making sure that they're aware of what, Christian fascism is and how to fight against it, and make sure that they don't support Gilead. And if they have to run to Canada and keep the handmaids safe, like, do it,
And hope that Canada doesn't get annexed at any point.
Hey, everybody forgets the Geneva Convention is because of Canada. All right. Canada's the one that says it's not a war crime the first time. All right. Everybody thinks Canada's just honky dory and it's not. Like, Canada buries their shit pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not on the level of like Japan war crimes bad, like that's just like unconscionable. They just did that with a bunch of anime and e-girls. But like Canada did some fucked up shit.
I moved here from Canada and they think I'm slow, eh?
There were like schools back in the I'd say probably like in the 50s. I don't know how long they were around for. I know they're definitely not a thing anymore, but they were like, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Like conversion schools for the indigenous children.
Oh yeah, those were in use, I think, up until the 80s, depending on the province.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was like harsh. Like imagine like the early 1900s America kind of harsh, and it was like the 1970s and 80s, and it's bad.
Yeah, and I feel like that was.
And Trudeau was kind of like fine. It was like, yeah, holy shit, we fucked up, but I have to say I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are you talking about Justin Trudeau or his father?
No, Justin Trudeau. Yeah,
Okay.
the son apologized.
Yeah.
Basically for what his father fucking didn't stop.
So I wonder if there's a little bit of a connection to this, though, because I learned about all of this through the late Gord Downey from the Tragically Hip, because one of his final projects before he died was called The Secret Path, and it's about a kid that escaped. True story about a kid that escaped one of those schools and unfortunately succumbed to the elements in trying to do so because Canada. And Justin Trudeau, massive Tragically Hip fan. And so I wonder if that and I'm sure obviously
you're aware. I mean, he's not an idiot.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not getting, having shitty schools in the South of America knows actual history. And I think he knows actual history as well.
Yeah.
For Canadian history. So he knows.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that Trudeau formally apologized for this after 2017 when that album came out, but and I think accompanying film, but I'm sure Gord doing a whole project about it brought it back to the forefront. I mean, I learned something because of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Who in America keeps track of American history? Never mind Canadian history,
Right.
Yeah. They're like, Canadian history, the Mounties waged war against the beaver dams. I don't know. Maple syrup conglomerates. That's about it.
And as we all know, when Canada gets annexed to the United States, that's just the last. That's the last box to be checked, because following that, total nuclear annihilation.
Why? Because we decide to go to war with China. China invades Alaska, and then the bombs start falling.
Operation Anchorage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let us wrap up this installment of Hardly Focused.
This is the end.
Hardly Focused.
The end.
I've been sitting on this and I wanted to bring it up. So I was away for several weeks. Was all over the South. Not like all over South, but I was in the South.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't you have some fucking cookout?
I did stop at Cookout.
You motherfucker.
Well, that was back in the beginning of
I'm like,
March, but still.
Yeah, America's great, isn't it? Except for the South.
Yeah, I introduced Becky to Cookout, but we only got shakes from Cookout. Cookout is still
you didn't
Cookout.
Get the full experience.
You didn't get the full experience because there was a Checkers across the street, and we had also never been to Checkers before, so we compromised. We said, let's go get
Checkers.
Let's go get food from Checkers, which we were very, very pleased with, and then we'll get the milkshakes from Cookout. And it was at that Cookout, or that Checkers rather, where the guy in the drive-thru gleefully called me Hoss. And I thought that was great.
Hoss. Love it.
Yes, he's like, here you go, Hoss. Have a good night. Like, he called me Hoss. So
he's like, you don't look like a sir. You look like a Hoss.
Well, we were of the mind that I think like the car that was in front of us in the drive-thru, I think a deal of some sort had just gone down. So
the non-food variety.
Sure. Yeah. So gentleman had to get his mind reset. You know what he did is we put our order in at the window, and we get up there, and he just smiles and goes, "What can I get you?" Like, what? Just order.
What can I get you?
Anyway, so that's we were coming back from the East Side Bowl in technically Madison, Tennessee. So that was the beginning of March, and then we went back at the end of March, and there's a reason for this. So we went at the beginning of March because that's where Jesse Lacey from Brand New performed his first public show since 2017. And it's a bowling alley, all right? It's a bowling alley that in a building that used to be a Kmart. All right, so when you pull into the parking lot, it bears all the hallmarks of a Kmart, of a shopping plaza that has now been repurposed, and it's a bowling alley. And we were back in the area, having seen Brand New in full at the end of March, and said, hey, that bowling alley was really cool. We actually want to go bowling here. So we did. And Mike, you would love this place because you step inside and it looks like the Lucky 38 when you walk in.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Right.
Now it's a new facility. I mean, it's only been open for a couple of years, but they did a fantastic job of making it look like it was built in the 50s and hasn't been maintained since.
Do they have like cigarette ashtrays up on like thin stands, like a tabletop edge?
If they had the ashtrays out, if they actually did have anything like that, obviously you can't smoke indoors, but they would at least like put it there for the aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
They
have.
have.
Look here. What this? Just because it looks like the 1950s doesn't mean it's the 1950s. We allow black people here too, okay?
They've got like they look like the jacks, the toy jacks, the stars that you see in all like the 50s motifs.
Oh yeah,
logos.
oh yeah, like the yep.
They got those everywhere. They got the retro futuristic carpeting. Yeah, they went all
chrome with the
there.
vinyl, on the backs of the chairs. Yeah.
Yep. So there were two things about this bowling alley that really stuck out to me. The first is candlepin bowling isn't a thing outside of New England.
Completely unfortunate that it is not a nationwide thing because it is far superior.
And I truly wonder if the owners, the designers of this place know this and are having fun with it, because they had this motif, and I sent you a couple of pictures of it, Mike. They're candle pins, like legitimate candle pins, like on strings, just kind of, it's part of the decor.
Mm-hmm.
But they had so many of these candle pins around. Like, guys, if you're going to use the candle pins for your decorations, convert like 4 of these lanes into candlepin lanes.
Oh my God, it'd be so amazing.
And just like, you don't have to go with the rule set. You don't have to do, all the crazy shit that, doesn't apply to regular standard 10-pin bowling. Just do it as, you just follow that move set instead. But actually have some candlepin lanes here if you're going to have candlepins on display.
Candlepin bowling as God intended.
Yeah. I like that. I like that you can get wood. Candlepin bowling. Can't do that in regular big ball bowling. But
nope.
So that's that. But on that note, I've never seen this before, and I don't know if I should consider it cheating and getting gypped. But all of the pins in all of the lanes were on strings.
I do not like strings. I do not. I understand the logic behind it as a bowling owner. It is cheaper and is easier to maintain that that style of pin setting. I, however, do not like it at all. I feel like it does detract from the natural grace of a pin just flinging sideways and hitting something else unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I think it just takes away just a little bit. And God knows you can't do string pins with candle pin because you need that dead wood to spin around when it's in the gutter. because God knows I'll play it that way.
Yep.
And people outside of New England are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, when the
Google candlepin bowling and watch how amazing it is.
Yeah. You know, when the pins fall with your standard, your big ball bowling, as we call it around here, big ball bowling.
Yep.
Because there's also...
Exactly. It's big ball bowling and candlepin.
There's also duck pin, too, but we don't talk about duck pin.
That's Rhode Island. Rhode Island's like the bastard stepchild of New England.
Rhode Island, they love wieners and coffee milk. They make no sense. It's not even an island.
No.
Well,
they had to get rid of the last part of the name because, you know.
Sure. But, yeah, so... Big ball bowling, you knock the pins over and then they reset them and then they only put up what was still standing. Candlepin, whatever you knock down stays, and you can use that to your advantage. You can weaponize it.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was joking about wood earlier, wood is when the pin just like falls on its side and it just like kind of like rocks back and forth. Like you have to wait.
And it just sits there right in the middle of the lane and you think, oh, it's going to clear. No, it sits there until you're done and you roll your third ball.
Yep. And you got to wait. You got to wait for it to stop rocking before you can.
Because the logic is there. A strike is one. A spare means there's a spare ball left over. And the third ball is if you get the 10th point, it's just a 10.
Mm-hmm.
There's no spares don't make sense in big ball bowling because there is no spare. You don't have a spare ball left over. You're only allowed 2 balls. So it would be strike and then 10, not a spare.
Mm-hmm.
But they 10-pin bowling after candlepin bowling. So they took candlepin's rules and adapted it. So there, spares exist only for candlepins because that's where the real rules are.
And it's fascinating that it wasn't candlepin that took off.
Oh, I wish it was. It's so like, and it's so much easier because the pins are the exact same top and bottom. So it's easier for a pin setter. He doesn't have to worry about flipping the pins.
Yep. I really feel that having the pins on strings was not working to my advantage. I feel like there were several times where like I was arguably like, if we did like a best out of 3, like I won the second round, but Becky kicked my ass. But there were times where it should have been a strike and it wasn't. And I blame these fake ass pins and the strings, and it was a jip. And if that's how
which you're still allowed to say because they don't actually have their own country.
God damn it. But he's just taking a sip of his what a purported beverage there. It's water. I'm telling you, it's water.
Water. It's just water.
If that's their way of trying to get more money out of you, then so be it.
What is the gypsy consulate going to come attack me? Come on, get out of here.
Well, all that aside, the mechanics, potentially the unsportsmanlike mechanics of the game itself, the bowling alley, the building, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. The aesthetic was there. Even when you're walking in, right outside, they have like a flickering, like it's an AMC for the bowling company sign, and it's not even like neon or anything. It looks, I don't know if it like is a legitimate retro piece of equipment or if it's just designed to look that way. But it's just like it's like a flickering sign that says like AMC bowl here or something like that. It's like they did not screw around when it came down to the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So if you happen to be in the Nashville area, travel outside the city. It's like 5 or 10 minutes outside the city to Madison, and go to the East Side Bowl. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. And they have shows there.
I hope we get residuals.
They have bands play there too. It's we were looking at the upcoming list, and I'm like blanking on who I saw in there. Oh, I saw the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus was going to be playing there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean they've they have their one hit, but they continue to perform and record music, and the venue there, it's like a 700 cap venue, but it's probably like comparable to the old Great Scott in terms of size. So or maybe Brighton Music Hall Brain Music Hall might be a little bit bigger, but nice venue. Nice bowling alley. Nashville itself, nice city. I can't believe I've been there 3 times now in the past year.
Not too shabby.
We walked. It didn't even register the first 2 times I've been down the street. It wasn't until the 3rd time we went, and it's right down the street from a Taco Bell cantina, but it's the street that dude blew up in his RV a few years ago, and it's still like it's all blocked off, and they're still rebuilding down there, and it didn't even like occur to me that was the street where it happened. You're talking about acts of domestic terrorism. If I made Danny Bonaducci it.
Danny Bonaducci!
At least that guy was nice and respectful. Because he had his the intercom on his RV politely telling people, please leave. Please get out of here. I don't want to take any human lives beyond my own. And I can't remember if anyone actually besides him died. His warnings might have actually saved lives because his whole I think his whole thing is he wanted to take down telecommunications in the city.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was a psychopath, but at least he was respectful enough to say he's like Bud Dwyer holding the gun, telling people, "Get out of here. This may hurt you. It's definitely about to hurt me." All right, we
I just double checked. 8 injured, 1 death. The only death was the perpetrator.
Okay. I mean, not great, but not terrible.
3 points at Ricken. All right.
What does the dosimeter say? 3.6 Roentgen, but that's as high as the meter. 3.6. Not great, not terrible.
All right.
Love it.
All right, Mike. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It's fun as always. And for the rest of you, thank you for listening. We will talk at you next time. See you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Randomization may not have happened.
This has been a presentation of the Solid Listen Podcast Network.